I made a basic PySide tutorial last year, and that has gotten quite a few good comments. And one of the most frequently asked questions that I get from that tutorial is, how do I configure the external tools that you have? So for instance, when I'm on this UI file here, I have got some external tools configured so that I can convert that to Python very easily. And I also have some keyboard shortcuts set up to do that. And like I said, quite a few people have asked me, how did I do that? So I'm going to show you where that is set up within PyCharm. And actually you can set this up to run any external program that's on your computer. Where the Qt ones are, or the PySide ones that we're going to use, they're under your .virtual environment, then they're under bin, and you'll see that the UIC compiler is here, the resource compiler is here, and also you'll see there's PySide 6 Designer. So this will actually open Qt Designer. And so what you need to do if you want to configure those is you go to your settings, IDE and project settings, go to settings, go under tools, which is right here, and then there's external tools. And so I created a group called Qt. This is not provided by any plugin or anything that I'm aware of. I just did this myself. And so let's take a look at the first one, which is to convert a UI into Python. If I double click, I can bring up the command to run. And you'll notice that there are some wildcard substitutions here. So the project file directory, so that's my Qt testing directory up here. And then the .virtual environment, bin, and then PySide 6 UIC. And then in the arguments section, you just pass it the arguments. You pass it the file name. I did change this to do absolute imports, and I do that because it then imports the resource files correctly from the location that the resource file is in. And I want to thank a commenter on pointing that out to me a little while back. That was a big change I made that was really helpful. Then you do your dash output, and then file name without extension .py. So that will turn the .ui file into Python, and then the working directory I always have just set to file directory, and that's file directory with $2 signs. Then what you can also do when you're configuring these tools, if you want the console to open once the tool has been ran, if you click this, it'll say open console for tool output. If I click OK and I click apply, click OK, what will happen is now when I right click on this and I go Qt and I go convert UI to Python, you'll see that it opened up the terminal window for me, and I can see that the process ended correctly. I don't normally do this. Once I have these things set up, they tend to be working, so I don't really need to see the console output. But you can if you want. So to open a UI in Qt Designer, same type of thing, the project file directory, virtual environment, bin, PySide 6 Designer, and the argument that you want to pass is the file name. The working directory is still file directory. So when I run this option, open in Designer, it opens it for me in Qt Designer. Pretty self-explanatory, really. See, convert resource to Python. See, same project file directory, virtual environment bin, PySide 6, and this is the resource compiler. And then the arguments are the file name, -o, the file name without extension, _rc. And that's really important because in the convert UI to Python, it's going to want that converted resource file to be its name and then _rc. And then working directory is $file directory. Open Designer, this just opens up Qt Designer for me, and the working directory is file directory. And I do this so that when I want to create something new, all I have to do is highlight that folder, go down to Qt, Open Designer, and we'll just create a basic main window here. If I do save, it will, if you'll see here, it's probably very hard for you to see, but what it does is it automatically is going to save it to the correct directory for me. Now, I actually took this one step further, and I don't just use the right click. A lot of times I will do the right clicking in videos so that you can see what I'm doing, but most of the time I use keyboard shortcuts. So if you want to take these external tools and add some keyboard shortcuts to it, you click on Key Map, and you'll see there's an external tools section, and then Qt is the group, and you'll see Convert UI to Python is mapped to my Windows F1. Open UI in Designers Windows F2, Convert Resource to Python Windows F3, and then just Opening Designers Windows F4. I also took this another step further because I have a Corsair keyboard with macro keys on the left hand side. So I've got them mapped, all of these options are mapped to G1, this is G1, G2, G3, and G4. And I have to do that within Corsair's IQ software. So now, for instance, if I take this Python file and I go ahead and delete it, if I highlight the UI file and I hit G1, you'll see it turns that into a Python file for me. And it just saves me some right clicking and also saves me some keystrokes. I mean, I could do the Windows key in F1. It really wouldn't be that difficult, but since I've got these macro keys on the left hand side of the keyboard, I just do that because it's a little easier. And also, I also have a function key, by the way, mapped to open up the settings. When you go to Tools and you go to, let's see where to go, External Tools, you can add anything in here. So any program that you happen to have on your computer, if you wanted to open Spotify inside of PyCharm, or while you're in PyCharm, you could open up Spotify, you could open up any document editors, you could open up, if you're on Windows, you could open up Notepad++, any type of thing. So you can actually have any program that's on your computer on here. I just happen to use this external tools for the purposes of when I'm working with PySide, because it just saves some steps. But some of you have asked, how do I have these configured? What do they look like? Is it an external plugin that I've downloaded? And no. There are external plugins that you can get for Visual Studio Code. In fact, I think now, I was looking, there's actually some plugins that come directly from Qt that you can put into Visual Studio Code. For me, this took me a grand total of a few minutes to set up several years ago when I was getting into this. The Convert UI to Python, the only thing I didn't know was the absolute imports flag and what that was going to do. But a commenter pointed out to me what that does and how it solves the resource problem. So now under my icons, if I go ahead and close this, go to icons, you'll see that I can keep the icons resource in there and also keep the generated Python in there as well under an icons folder, which is what I really like to do. So, alright, so I hope that solves that mystery, and I hope the rest of your night goes really well.